Hey everybody, Pastor Mark here. It's Wednesday, and you know that means it's time for our check-in. I hope this finds you well. I hope you're doing okay this week. I got to admit, if I'm honest, I'm finding myself just a little bit discouraged. While I see what's going on in the news, our hearts go out to the people in Afghanistan and the trauma there, the earthquake in Haiti. It just seems to be a heavy news cycle, and there's a lot of people that need our thoughts and our prayers and our help and support all throughout the world. It also is just a little bit frustrating to think, back in July, we thought we were coming out of the pandemic, and it turned out that it was a little bit of a false summit. We are seeing now a rise in infection rates and just reminding ourselves that we still do need to be careful and cautious. And so I'm just, if I'm honest, finding that just to be a little wearying and just trying. And I'm sure a lot of you are feeling the same way, wondering, what do we do? How do we plan and stay safe and still live our full and rich lives? So I bet I'm not alone in that. I just wanted to share that that's kind of where I'm at this week. I'm still wrestling with Jesus as bread of life. We're still in that discourse where Jesus is giving us that metaphor of, I'm the bread of life. You've got to consume my body and drink my blood. We're wrestling with all of those images and metaphors, and what does that mean for us? Into this Sunday's gospel, we're going to hear some people are offended, and actually they're so offended that they take the opportunity to say, you know what, this isn't for me. This is so offensive and so out there. We're going to leave. We're going to go do something else, Jesus. And Jesus turns to the disciples and says, and you? What about you? Are you guys still in or not? And Peter turns and says, Lord, where else would we go? You have the words of eternal life. And of course, that phrase feels really familiar. That's a part of our liturgy that we sing when we do our full liturgy. We know those words. Lord, to whom else will we go? You have the words of eternal life. And I kind of find myself wondering that in the midst of the pandemic is, where else are we going to go? We can't save ourselves. We can't do this on our own. The pandemic reminds us and points us back to the reality that Christ is our source of life, is our daily bread. And in Jesus, we have life. On our own, it's a little more difficult. So I'm grateful for that promise that we have in Jesus Christ. I'm grateful for this metaphor, the bread of life, even as mysterious and sometimes challenging as it can be. And I'm grateful for you, every one of you that participates in the life and the ministry of the St. Luke's community. I'm grateful for the ways that you've stayed connected, the ways that you've been creative and strong and resilient all throughout this pandemic. So thanks for all that you do. Stay in touch, and I'll see you this weekend.